Good morning, Leeds fans. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. I should say good afternoon, actually, wherever you are on this beautiful place we call planet Earth. And we are back, and it's a beautiful place, of course, now, because Leeds United are in the top two, and we have the opportunity. Oh, I'm getting a bit giddy, everybody. The opportunity to leapfrog Leicester, Kasabian FC, the next time Leeds United play Millwall. Obviously, on the 29th is when Leicester, I believe, face Bristol City, which will be no easy task. And we're going to get into the thick of why I think this is a massive opportunity for Leeds United to decapitate that Fox's head and win the league. Before we start, everyone, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Head on over to the Patreon as well if you want some bonus content. We'll be filming across the pond today with my fellow Leeds United friend Gabe, and we will also be adding a few other bits to the Patreon. We're thinking about doing something analysis-wise with Oscar and just a few different shows as well to add on to there. So there's constant content over there. Not only are you being supplemented by this wonderful YouTube channel, but you are also being complemented by, if I must say, a fantastic Patreon channel and broadcast as well. So please make sure you do that. If you can't do that, if you don't know what the hell Patreon is and you just want to support the channel, you can do that by the thanks button near the join button, or you can become part of the Leeds United One Leeds Sphere by becoming a YouTube member. Select join for that, everybody. Okay, let's get on to the main picture. Before we get into Leicester, I want to speak on Robin Koch. It looks like after a 3.5-year hiatus from the German national side, the German centre-back is about to be recalled to their national side after a really, really good season. And I think as Leeds United fans, listen, when he first joined, when he was with us in that first campaign, Robin, he had a few injuries. He wasn't really up to the mark, in my opinion, but you could see a player in there. You could definitely see a player in there. And I did think that, you know, at the start, listen, him and Llorente were almost the sort of replacements, really, when you're looking at it, for Ben White. They brought two in for Ben White. And it was a really, really nice window, I thought. You know, you brought Robin in for around 10 to 15 million. You brought Diego Llorente in for around 20 million. Decent pedigree, Real Sociedad. Obviously, Koch had played with Eintracht Frankfurt as well. So it was a real good pedigree when you look at those players that were coming in. And they had really good reputations. Robin had been with the German national side, as we know. Llorente had been with the Spanish national side as well. And we're all thinking, wow, okay, here we go. It didn't turn out that well. I thought they struggled with the Premier League. And we all talk about Marc Roca, and this is probably another instance of it. I know there's a lot of people who talk about his athleticism, the physicality side of it when it came to Marc. And I don't thoroughly agree with that, but I understand where people are coming from. But I did think with Robin, I did think with Diego, and you've seen with what they're doing right now in Italy respectively and Germany, they are dealing with that pressure. They are dealing with that league more than capable, like more than fine, really. They are more than capable to deal with that, and that strikes down to me the significance, the quality, the caliber, the level that is the Premier League in comparison to some other of these, you know, domestic leagues, these European leagues. I do think the Premier League is the creme de la creme. So yeah, Robin Koch is about to slot himself into that national side. And listen, I wanted to speak on this because David Moyes was speaking about Calvin Phillips the other day as well. You know, would you take him back? We've spoken about it on the channel before. I think when it's getting closer and closer and closer, and there's 9 games left, everybody. 9 games left. As I nearly beat my horn. 9 games left, and we could be talking about Premier League venture when it comes to Leeds United. Would he? I'm seeing online again. It's trending. I like to talk about things that are trending. I like to have discussion, debate, topic on the channel. It's debated right now whether or not people would make him their first signing. Not for me, and let's not get too deep into that, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Diego Llorente scored an absolute stunner the other day for Roma, putting them back into contention against Fiorentina. They were 2-1 down, and they got back into it. It was a wonderful strike from Diego Llorente, showing his technical ability and sort of understanding why, you know, he had this reputation of being a defensive midfielder as well as a centre-back. He has that ability to play a little bit further up the pitch. He has that ability to be, a technical footballer. He's Spanish, obviously. He's come through their system where any Spanish player you feel can play tiki-taka at any stage of the pitch. But we knew in the Premier League that Diego struggled with that. The high press would kill that man, and the amount of mistakes he would make would also kill that man. But there is apparently an agreement at the end of the season which will see Diego Llorente permanently sign for Roma. Interesting in itself. So, the Championship picture as we go into this week of rest for Leeds United. Now, I did want to get into Leicester, and I want to get your thoughts as well, everybody. Leicester City. Now, why this is so intriguing is how far, I can't get my head around how far they were ahead. And I'm not saying, I put something out on social media, everybody. I put, don't bottle it, Leicester City. And I'm having Leeds fans having a go at me, saying I'm preempting the worst. I mean, people call me negative. How negative is that? To have a little bit of fun poking at the opposition, which they've poked at us all season, and we're getting our own fan base saying that because I've said don't bottle it, Leicester, I'm sort of, it's a jinx. It's going to go against us. It's not like we've clawed the points gap down to, you know, from what, 16 points was it? We've clawed the point gap down a 13-way swing. Unbelievable. 13-point swing, which has been staggering from Leeds United. I have to say, I didn't expect it. I thought Leicester were just going to keep roaming and going and going and going. And yeah, that's what happens, everybody, with form and results. If a team drops form and the other team improves their form, things change. The picture can change. It's baffling. It is baffling how football works that way, but it does. It does. So Leeds United are now well in the picture, and we mentioned this yesterday, to win the title. 3 points is nothing. But what Leicester will be thinking as well is 3 points is also nothing. And they have been the hunted. It'll be interesting to see them as the hunter as well. But what I wanted to focus on as well is the profit and sustainability rules, the charges that are over Leicester City's head could come to fruition. There could be a conclusive statement made by the powers that be about Leicester's charges before they play next. Not only could they face charges, and it's looking likely that they will face charges. So before the game against Bristol City, they potentially will know their fate going into the Premier League, which is massive. You know, if you know you're going to get a 10-point deduction, if you know you're going to get even a 5-point deduction, a 12-point deduction, this can influence players. It can massively, you know, if you're on loan at Leicester, you know, you might get a player going, well, actually, no, because they've now got an increased likelihood of going down. Are they going to have to tighten their purse strings when it comes to wages? Are they then going to have to look at, you know, players coming in and think, right, well, we're not sure we can do that anymore? It might not affect that, but obviously Leicester do have some serious bank loans. But also the mental state that you've squandered this lead, which they have as such. You know, we have to be brutally honest. And Leicester might win every single game right now till the end of the season. And this might be a rallying call for them. We saw what happened with Pep Guardiola's Man City towards the back end of last season when the 115 charges were put down on City. It galvanised all of them. And they absolutely took apart European football and won the treble. So we can't all just say, look, this might hurt them in a negative way. This might be the catalyst that sees Leicester win the league at a canter. But it's definitely worth a discussion, because the impact that some of these players will feel, knowing that potentially they have a massive points dock at the start of next season, going into a much tougher Premier League, which it will be. Much tougher Premier League. If you get Leicester, Sheffield United are bobbins, we all know that. Burnley, bobbins, they've not really done anything when they've been in the Premier League, sat on 13 points. And the only team as such right now who have put up a little bit of a fight has been Luton, you know, and you're still expecting them to go down, really. But Nottingham Forest are in there as well. So Nottingham Forest, I think, if they were to go down to Championship, would buffer that standard up a hell of a lot, just with the squad calibre. And I think they are a Premier League side, really. But they'd have to sell a lot on as well. It wouldn't be good for Nottingham Forest with their wage structure. They didn't have a wage structure. They don't have a wage structure in place that Leeds United have, which I think was an advantage with getting us down to the Championship with the 50% cuts. But Leicester, there's so much to take into consideration when it comes to those profit and sustainability rules, but also the fact that Leeds, if they beat Millwall by a decent margin, will go above the Foxes. Now, it is up to Leeds United. The pressure will be on. It's for Leeds to carry on this momentum. We have to bear in mind that we are only a point above Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town appear to have really turned. And I mentioned yesterday, it is the impact of, in my opinion, of Kiefer Moore. I think Kiefer Moore's brought them to a different level, literally. But he gives them such a different dynamic of playing. I think his hold-up play is much better than George Hurst was. I think his experience has been a big factor, and the amount of goals he's got since he's come in has been a brilliant addition to Ipswich. And that, for me, has been a massive reason as to why their form has improved drastically. So Ipswich are going to be there right till the end of the season. And people were saying to me, Connor, we've got 9 games left. We can't be too cocky. And we are right there. We are right there. But I do have to say, when we've been on a run of 12 wins in 13, and we should have beaten Huddersfield. By God, we should have beaten Huddersfield. But 12 wins in 13, we'd be top in any other season. You've got to think that this form is going to catapult Leeds. It's going to keep Leeds in that top 2. It's got to do. It would be a mesmeric drop-off if Leeds were to now just sort of, hit the sort of ground with this. But I think Leeds, we didn't do this last time, and that's obviously because of other teams. But I think Leeds now, if we're able to establish a little bit of a gap, even if it is, 3-4 points with Ipswich, that'd be massive, because then that's a win, and Leeds have got a better goal difference. So it's so interesting what's going to be happening with Leicester. Ipswich are still a massive threat, in my opinion. I did say they'd get the top 2. Could be wrong on that front, but I still think they could get the top 2. We could be looking at a scenario where it's Leeds and Ipswich. We could be looking at a scenario where it's Southampton and Ipswich. We could be looking at a scenario where it's Leicester, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton. It's absolutely mental. So any form right now is critical. It is critical. You do not want to be haltering. You do not want to be faltering, I should say. You don't want to be halting or faltering right now. It's the worst point to do it. 9 games left. Leeds have just got to power through. Big week of rest. And we know what the problem is on the international break. You've got 4 of our bloody Welsh players and Glenn Kamara all going away, and playing each other in the playoff, which is a nightmare in itself. But overall, Leeds need to get this done. It would be such a heartbreaking season if we were to end up in the playoffs. It really would, because they deserve top 2 with what they've done, with what Farke's done, what the backroom staff have done. You have to say that. So Ipswich is still a problem. Southampton are still a problem. But Leicester City, the big question mark is over them now. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As I say, like, comment and subscribe. Head on over to the Patreon for some bonus podcasts where we're going to be speaking about this as well. I'll see you in a bit.